This is News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4. It's warm and dry for now, but storms are on the way.
Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington has your full forecast. Alex?
Hey folks, actually the clouds that we have out here in the patio are from some of the leftovers of some thunderstorms that were over northeast Iowa that have been trying to move into southern Wisconsin, but we have very dry air, so they fizzled out. Radar 3000 not showing any of those storms in southern Wisconsin yet, but if you look way to the west over towards Rochester, you see things starting to light up. We'll go on a little trip over towards the Rochester area. Some thunderstorms popped up in north central Iowa near Mason City, and then they have been rolling off towards the north and towards the east over southeastern Minnesota, where they do have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock. Let's go back to southern Wisconsin. Future track showing a broken line of showers and thunderstorms evolving into southwestern Wisconsin as we approach 8, 9, 10 o'clock. But this line is expected to weaken as it rolls towards the east. And in southern Wisconsin, Madison and points to the east coming up a little bit later. I'm going to track that line and give you the latest on what our chances for thunderstorms are going to be as we continue to move through the evening. Thunderstorms will roll into the area as we head towards 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then eventually they will end across southern Wisconsin. How much rain you could expect, and again, Madison and points to the east. When can you expect these storms to roll into your area? And after, I have those answers in a few minutes.
Thank you, Alex. Madison police say suspects in a robbery are on the loose after stealing from a gas station. This was at the BP on Gammon Road. Officers responded at about midnight after the clerk called to report a group of men had robbed the station. The clerk says a man came in to pay for gas as they were closing. He paid, left, and then came back for a refund. The man allegedly pushed his way inside, broke the plexiglass barrier, and stole all the money in the register. He drove away in a car with 2 other people inside. Police say detectives are completing follow-up work in this case. Well, the #1 pollster has a new national poll out today. It follows Wisconsin-specific polling that's just come out, showing Vice President Harris with a slight lead overall and former President Trump with a lead among older voters. The latest time Siena poll was taken after the debate of the likely U.S. electorate. It shows nationally Trump and Harris each get 47% of the vote. That has a margin of error of plus or minus 3 points. When it comes to how well each candidate did in the debate, 67% say Harris did well in the debate, as compared to 40% who say Trump performed well.
And while neither candidate has the endorsement of the Teamsters Union, internal polling from the group shows members support Trump. The Trump campaign is capitalizing on that polling, with the former president claiming he received their endorsement. But the vice president did receive the endorsement of a local Teamsters board here in Wisconsin. Teamsters Joint Council 39 represents about 15,000 workers at 3 locals across the state. In their endorsement, the group referred to Harris as, quote, vice president of the most pro-union administration ever. Their statement reads in part, this November we will work again with millions of union workers across the country to defeat Donald Trump. We are proud to endorse Harris Walz for president and vice president.
Well, tomorrow Harris will be in Madison for a rally. The last time the VP was in Wisconsin was during the Democratic National Convention, when she stopped at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. Before that, Harris was in Milwaukee just days after President Joe Biden bowed out of the race. It was her first campaign stop as a contender in this year's presidential race. Here's what we know so far about her visit tomorrow. WISC-Dems is hosting the rally. The group says the event is sold out, but people who still want to go can add themselves to a wait list. We do know the rally will be sometime in the evening, but WISC-Dems has not specified the exact time it will begin, nor have they said where the rally will be. Attendees will get that information 12 to 24 hours before the rally.
Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin will be campaigning across south central Wisconsin this weekend. The incumbent senator will co-host a meet and greet in Richland County with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. After, the two will go to the Iowa and Lafayette County picnics. According to the Baldwin's office, she and Shapiro want to highlight their shared commitment to focusing on all communities across the country. In both Richland and Lafayette counties, voters who supported Baldwin also voted for Trump. The events are scheduled for Saturday morning and afternoon.
We are continuing our 3 for the People coverage with a focus on youth participation in politics.
Our Meryl Hubbard is talking to high schoolers in the MMSD district to see how students are getting engaged civically. And some of the students will be old enough to vote for their first time. We get to see what issues they care about. Meryl?
Yeah, Ellie and Brady, many of us remember taking a government class in high school, but for some schools here in Madison, they are taking it a step further. Civics courses are becoming more popular so students can learn not only about how their government works, but also how to talk about policies from both sides of the political aisle. It goes beyond history as these students take over their class and learn how to engage in civil discourse. This is the first year West High School has implemented an elective civics course, also known as a legislative semester. MMSD created the civics curriculum so students can engage and share their beliefs in a safe environment. The course is geared for students who are close to voting age. They create committees, take on leadership roles that mimic the legislature. They watch debates, learn how to fact check, argue on topics, and come to a compromise. This way they can learn about the political and social issues that impact them before they vote one day.
The only way a functional democracy works is if you have an informed electorate. And even more now with AI and social media, how do they discern that information and make a really good vote on, that's going to benefit them?
I love that about this class, that we actually get to find sources where we can fact check.
24 Gen Z will make up over 40 million potential voters. Issues like climate change and gun violence are top of mind for youth, but according to Circle Research, cost of living is young people's top concern by a wide margin. Coming up tonight at 6, we're also going to hear from students from Middleton High School to learn more about how civic engagement courses are growing and how that affects the future of these students.
Meryl, thank you. Breaking news, the Department of Justice representing the state's election commission has filed a petition to bypass RFK Jr.'s request to get off the state's ballot.
That's right. The DOJ and WEC are looking to take this case directly to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. It's the latest update in Kennedy's efforts to get off the state's ballot, less than 50 days from the general election. Earlier today, Kennedy's lawyers appealed a Dane County's judge decision from earlier this week. The judge upheld the WEC's ruling that Kennedy had to stay on the ballot. The former independent candidate dropped out after the deadline to get his name off the ballot. State law says the only way Kennedy's name can be taken off at this point is if he dies.
And we'll provide updates on this story as we learn more. You can stay informed by downloading the free Channel 3000 mobile app. Okay, so is the thought of a migraine slowing you down? Is it just giving you a headache? Dr. Zorba Pastor is in to show us what you can do to keep your head from hurting.
Plus, new details in the Middle East after attacks that killed at least 25 people and injured hundreds.
After a beautiful drive through the hills of southwest Wisconsin, we have arrived at Oakwood Fruit Farm. I can smell the donuts from here. This is a true fall gem. Judy, a 5th generation fruit farm that couldn't be run more in an organized fashion. I absolutely love this place. All right, now this is truly a local gem out here in southwest Wisconsin, and now I see why. Just tell us all the fabulous things that are in this store.
We have a lot of products to offer. A lot of them we try to stay local within Wisconsin. We make our own caramel apples. We have our own bakery in-house, so we are making apple cider donuts on a daily basis.
And those are really the store's pride and joy.
Very much so. They are very popular and very delicious, and a lot of people will just come to buy donuts and maybe not even walk out with apples.
The apple cider donut. It's a truly perfect masterpiece, and it's warm. Oh.
We grow all of our apples here that are sold, and throughout the season, we have about 20 different varieties of apples. The most popular one is the Honeycrisp. Customers are looking for that as soon as we open our store.
Greg, how perfect is southwest Wisconsin and the topography really for your apple crop?
It's a great area for growing apples. Yeah, it's a very nice area to grow a family and grow apples.
Greg, a big cheers to you from Oakwood Fruit Farm.
We're buzzing into Madison.
Oh, you got it. All right.
All right.
Good work.
Excellent.
We all know costs are too high, but while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts.
But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
A lot of law firms claim to be experts at handling injury cases that involve large trucks. But handling one trucking case does not make you an expert on the subject. Experience matters in these cases. One local firm has handled 25 trucking cases which resulted in payments over $1 million each, and hundreds of others as well. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Today, fears of a widening war in the Middle East.
The leader of Hezbollah is warning of a retaliatory attack against Israel for attacks that killed at least 25 people and injured hundreds more yesterday. Walkie-talkies detonated in Lebanon Wednesday, a day after pager blasts killed at least 12 people. The country's health minister says Tuesday's blast left thousands across the country injured. And today, the Israeli minister struck targets in Lebanon. This all follows months of cross-border clashes.
The FBI says Iranian hackers stole information from the Trump campaign and sent it unsolicited to the Biden campaign before the president dropped out. A former Biden campaign official says the campaign did not use that material, and federal officials say there's no evidence the recipients of the stolen material responded. This announcement is the latest U.S. government effort to call out what officials say is a blatant attempt to interfere with the upcoming election.
One day after the Federal Reserve announced a 0.5% rate cut, economists say it will lead to relief in multiple places for consumers. Financial experts say the cuts will lower interest rates on credit card balances and make buying a car more affordable. A new survey from Edmunds shows 62% of car shoppers held off on purchasing their next vehicle because of high interest rates. The Fed has 2 more meetings this year. Economists say they could cut rates at those too.
Before the rate cuts, mortgage applications actually rose. Total mortgage applications nationwide shot up 14.2% last week compared with the week before. Applications to refinance a home loan were up 24%, while mortgage applications for a new home purchase were up 5%.
A new report on jobless claims shows fewer people are filing for unemployment benefits. The federal government reports first-time applicants for benefits fell last week from 231,000 to 219,000. That number is less than expected. The number of continuing claims was 1.8 million, down from the previous week, also lower than expected. This puts weekly jobless claims at a 4-month low.
In a list of high-income nations, the U.S. places last for key healthcare measures. The Commonwealth Fund Research Group found Americans are sicker, have lower life expectancies, and struggle to afford essential health care. That's compared with 9 other high-income countries. They noted people here face the most avoidable deaths. Researchers say the U.S. should expand insurance coverage and reduce the complexities of plans.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration is offering insurers hefty new subsidies to avoid a hike in Medicare drug plan premiums. Participating insurers will get an extra $15 per member per month if they limit increases to $35 per month from the prior year. The increase wasn't unexpected. After the Inflation Reduction Cap lowered out-of-pocket prescription costs, insurers were expected to raise premiums to cover additional costs. The new subsidies have sparked criticism from some Republicans who say the federal government is spending billions to address deficiencies in the IRA.
Let's take a look at the state's drought monitor. The updated version comes out every Thursday. It shows on September 17th, much of the state is experiencing abnormally dry conditions, or a moderate drought. It looks like Dane County is mostly abnormally dry, with a small part experiencing a moderate drought. Surrounding counties like Iowa, Rock, and Jefferson are also experiencing both. Alex, we don't necessarily want the storms, but will the rain help us out?
No, you don't want the severe weather, but sometimes that's the trade-off. Severe weather, get the rain. Some areas are going to get rain tonight with this cold front that's coming through. It will be a scattered chance across all of southern Wisconsin, but then we have even better rain chances and more widespread rain chances, which we've been first to mention for days now, and that's Saturday night, lasting clear to Monday night, maybe into the very beginning of Tuesday. Let's focus, though, on this tonight chance, this Thursday night chance right now. High and dry across all of southern Wisconsin on radar 3000. You got to go off to the west over to portions of southeastern Minnesota where they have a severe thunderstorm warning right now. And that severe thunderstorm line is going to be moving to the east but weakening as we progress towards 9-10 o'clock. Notice the broken nature of this line of thunderstorms. We're not expecting widespread severe weather tonight. Let's track it a little bit further. By 10, 11 o'clock, lining up from Mineral Point to the Dells up towards Wautoma. As we move off towards the east, look how quick that moves as we move towards 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That line has fizzled out across much of southern Wisconsin. And there's a reason for this fizzling, which I'll mention here in just a moment. But a nice day on store for Friday as skies clear and our temperatures are going to be warm. Areas from Madison and points to the west, our friends out towards Boscobel, Prairie du Chien, Richland Center, Viroqua, Juneau, Adams counties, you may see a quarter to half inch of rain as that line of storms moves through. But then as it weakens, as it moves towards Madison and points to the east, Madison, Janesville, Monroe, you may be looking at 1/10 of an inch or less because this line weakens as it rolls through southern Wisconsin. One of the reasons why this line of thunderstorms is weakening and the severe weather threat, gusty winds and hail, is on the low side is because the energy that we have in the atmosphere is higher to the west over Iowa and Minnesota. We still have quite a bit of that dry air in place that's been around for days, really for weeks. And as that line of thunderstorms moves into that drier air, it's going to battle that and the thunderstorms will weaken. So that's the reason why this line of storms, areas north and west of Madison, have a better chance for the stronger storms and the heavier rain. But we have more rain in the forecast. Night storms build in after a very warm Saturday at 86. The first day of fall Sunday, 73. That's above normal, but showers and thunderstorms are quite likely, and the shower and storm activity carries on into Monday with decent chances, and we'll need those drops. We'll take every drop that we can get because following that series of weather systems, temperatures stay warmer than normal, and we're going to go back into another dry stretch.
Thank you, Alex. And don't forget, we're partnering with the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County, Clinky Cleaners, and Magic 98 for the 39th annual Coats for Kids Drive. Through Saturday, October 5th, you can drop off new or gently used winter coats at any area Clinky Cleaners. We're also looking for hats, gloves, mittens, scarves, you know, anything to keep kids warm this winter. For more information on how to help, just go to this story on channel3000.com.
Well, if you suffered from migraines, you know once they start, everything stops.
So what are the triggers and which medications actually work to help you out? Dr. Zorba Pastor is here. Yeah, that's a big question.
Yes. What are the triggers? I mean, I started getting migraines when I was 5 years old, and they've continued, not as much now as it used to be. So, you know, there are a lot of different triggers. Food, lack of sleep, that's a big trigger. Stress in your life, and sometimes they just occur. Yeah. They just occur randomly.
How do you know if you have a migraine versus just having a headache?
It's not always easy to tell, but usually migraines are on one side of your head. They're usually not on the entire head. They're throbbing because that's actually what the blood vessels are doing outside the brain. The brain itself does not experience pain. It's the covering of the brain, around the brain, the dura mater and the subdural matter that actually produce the discomfort. It's the blood vessels in that. And basically, migraine medications are looking at hitting those.
So you talked about medications, but what are some of the steps people can take to kind of ease that discomfort a little bit?
Well, first of all, over-the-counter medications are great. Anti-inflammatories work for a lot of people. Ibuprofen or naproxen work really well. Aspirin, a drug that we rarely use for things, that can work really well. And then there are migraine products like Excedrin migraine, which are a combination of aspirin, acetaminophen. Some contain some caffeine, and those are over-the-counter, and they work really, really well with many, many people. And then, of course, then you have to go to prescription drugs.
And I've heard the term, triptans?
Triptans.
Yeah.
So triptans came out, must be like 20 years ago. Sumatriptan was the first drug in the class, and there are 5 different drugs. A number of them are generic and inexpensive, and a recent study in the British Medical Journal showed they are the best drugs to use for migraines. There are newer drugs that cost much more, maybe $300 to $400 a prescription, very, very expensive, and those turn out to be not that much better than Aleve or naproxen, you know, Aleve, which is naproxen or ibuprofen. So triptans are really good, and if one triptan doesn't work, you have your doctor prescribe another one, because there are 5 different triptans on the market, and they all work a little bit differently.
And so you kind of talked about food at the beginning of this. So how can food, alcohol, things like that, how can that impact a migraine?
negatively. That's what actually starts you out. You know, so some people get a migraine with red wine and not with white wine. You have to, you know, cheeses can do it, but you want to make sure you find out which food really does it all the time, because sometimes people pretty much start eating almost anything because they're worried about a migraine. So if you think something will do it with, say, such as wine, then another time you take it and see if that is a continually insulting thing that puts off the migraine head or puts on the migraine headache. Bright lights will do it, and bad luck does it.
Yeah. If you get one, you know what she means by that.
That's right. Now, you get migraines.
I do, and they start out, I get those ocular migraines, so like my vision gets blurry. It kind of starts like there's something here. It gets blurry, goes away, pain comes, and I'm down for several hours.
Yeah, no, it's terrible stuff. And I had migraines when I was a kid. One of the advantages of getting older is migraines tend to disappear. So that really is, it's kind of one of the nice thing about that. By the way, there are many medications that really work to keep you from getting migraines. Beta blockers are a good medication. A drug called topiramide is very good. It's an anticonvulsant drug. And so if you're getting migraines all the time, talk to your doctor. And then for some people, Botox is very, very good to get rid of migraines that are simply continuous migraines. So there is help on the way.
I do have some lines on my forehead, so 2 birds, 1 stone. Before we wrap up, I have an interesting question. When I will get migraines, you know, I'm nauseous for a little while, and then I'm hungry, and the only thing that sounds good is stovetop stuffing. That's the only thing. Is there a reason for that?
Maybe you like stovetop stuffing. I don't know. There's certain foods that people like, but I don't have an answer. It might be that. It's your comfort food. It's your go-to comfort food.
Sounds pretty good. All right, well, thank you very much.
It's great to be here.
Well, most of us have a loved one who is fighting cancer.
And good news, research shows deaths are declining, but there's something particular that could be interesting cases.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
This election is about 2 very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, and the other focused on the past. When the middle class is strong, America is strong. Lowering the cost of living will be a defining goal of my presidency. I'll lower the cost of insulin and prescription drugs for everyone, and I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gouging on food. More than 100 million Americans will get a tax cut. We will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals that are affordable for the middle class. Together, we will build an economy where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed. Now is the time to chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale, so when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year, so visit our website or call the number for your new floor today.
Gas, groceries, school supplies, everything costs more. Eggs are almost twice as much as they were 4 years ago. Biden, Harris, and the Democrats keep telling us things are better. They aren't better. And Tammy Baldwin is making it worse, raising taxes, running up debt, voting for spending that's driving inflation. 25 years in Washington and she's done nothing. It's time for a change.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy a furnace. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase a furnace and an air conditioner at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
A new report shows cancer death rates are declining.
But it also shows alcohol can drive up certain cases. CBS News' Jared Hill reports.
New research is highlighting the link between alcohol and cancer rates. Excessive alcohol use may be one factor behind an increase in at least 6 cancers, including head and neck, esophageal, breast, colon, liver, and stomach cancer, according to the American Association for Cancer Research.
Some of this is happening through chronic inflammation. We also know that alcohol changes the microbiome, so those are the bacteria that live in your gut, and that can also increase the risk of cancer.
Excessive alcohol use for women is defined as 3 or more drinks per day, 7 or more per week. For men, 4 or more drinks a day, 14 or more per week. Dr. Celine Gounder says there is no so-called safe amount of alcohol.
Other studies have shown that any amount of alcohol consumption can increase your risk of cancer, particularly if you have underlying medical conditions. I think it's everything in moderation, right?
Yes.
And we have trade-offs in life, and we take on certain risks because we enjoy them.
The report also finds a growing trend of young people being diagnosed with cancer.
We don't understand, and we're trying to better understand, but it's going to take research.
So these are my cancer meds.
Lourdes Monge was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 25. It had already spread to the lungs.
I thought that was it for me. I thought, wow, maybe I have like a year or two.
She's part of a clinical trial testing a new treatment.
It's not just about me when I go into this clinical trial. It's about all the other people that are going to come after me.
And maybe add to the overall trend, which shows cancer deaths are continuing to decline. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, that report shows a 33% reduction in the overall cancer death rate in the U.S. from 1991 to 2021, an estimated 4.1 million lives saved.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, we'll bring you the latest update from the Dane County executive race.
Learn about a recent endorsement when we come back.
I'm a 2-time Trump voter.
In 2024, I cannot support Donald Trump.
Trump is 100%
responsible for January 6th.
His treatment of women is just disgusting.
Trump called servicemen suckers and losers.
If Trump has a second term,
it will be much worse than the first.
Kamala Harris is a prosecutor.
He's a convicted felon. In 2024,
I will be
proudly voting for Kamala Harris.
Republican Accountability PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The Friends of the Middleton Performing Arts Center present Rick Lindy and the Jukebox Legends, a musical tribute to the early roots of rock and roll. Saturday, September 28th. One show only. Tickets available online now.
Be the scariest house in the block this Halloween at Menards.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
We wanted to be able to enjoy all 4 seasons, and patio enclosures helped us make that dream come true.
The one and only patio enclosures.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
You're watching News 3 Now live at 4, moving forward.
Oh, look at those. Just some turkeys having a good time.
Yeah, we see those outside of our station all the time. They're always wandering around.
They're keeping an eye on us, everyone. Well, they've probably been experiencing some of this hot, dry weather like the rest of us.
Yeah, but our weather words today, tracking a line of storms. Alex, we were talking earlier that we're going to see those showers. It seems like it's much needed this month. What can you tell us?
Absolutely. When we got past August 30th, we had a little over 0.8 of an inch of rain at Madison Airport, and that was it. Rainfall turned off. We've had basically nothing since. Drought conditions evolving rapidly across southern Wisconsin, but we do have good news. We have showers and thunderstorms that are developing to the west, and much of southern Wisconsin will receive at least a little bit of rain tonight. Radar 3000, it's dry across southern Wisconsin right now, but we'll take a little trip to the northwest. You got to go west of La Crosse into southeastern Minnesota, where they have a strong thunderstorm that has had a history of producing hail and damaging winds. We'll be keeping an eye on that thunderstorm, and more storms are developing across Minnesota and northern Iowa, where they have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock tonight. Future Track can help us pinpoint where's this line going to go throughout the evening. I have good news for Madison and points to the north and west, at least from a rain perspective. It does look like scattered showers and thunderstorms look likely as we approach 9-10 o'clock north and west of Madison. A little bit later in our newscast, we will track the rest of that line of thunderstorms. Areas north and west of Madison, especially up towards La Crosse, Vernon, Crawford County, you might sneak a strong storm this evening with some gusty winds and the potential for some hail as well. But the flooding risk and the tornado risk is very, very low with that line of showers and thunderstorms. After this line moves through, we've got better chances of rain for all of southern Wisconsin starting Saturday night, going on into Sunday and Monday night. And I'll give you a projection in my next weather about how much water we can expect between tonight and the rain that's upcoming.
All right, thank you, Alex. Wisconsin hit a new record high for jobs. The Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development says in August, the state's unemployment rate was 2.9%. That's more than 1% below the national rate. The number of people employed increased 2,100 over the month to a record high of 3,051,900 employed.
To the race for Dane County Executive, it's between State Senator Melissa Agard and the director of Dane County Sexual Violence Resource Center, Dana Pelleban. Agard won the most votes in the August primary. Pelleban came in second. Among the candidates originally running, Madison Common Council Alder Regina Vitiver, and today Vitiver's chosen which candidate she's throwing her support behind. A statement from Vitiver says, in part, Dana Pelleban brings the business acumen, management, expertise, and community leadership that Dane County needs for its next executive. I hope everyone who supported me in the primary will shift their support to Dana for the general election.
Let's get a look now at your stocks. The Dow and the S&P closed at record highs the day after the Fed's lowered interest rates. The Dow soared 522 points, the Nasdaq gained 440, and the S&P 500 gained 95.
First responders say 2 school buildings in Belleville are safe after a brief evacuation this morning. During a morning drop-off at a transformer on a property south of the schools, a strong electrical scent filled the area and buildings lost power for about 10 seconds. The buildings were evacuated. First responders conducted a sweep, after which students went back to class. In a statement, District Administrator Jim Schmidt said he's deeply appreciative of the first responders and the school district staff. For the rest of the day, electrical professionals made sure the school day continued without issue.
And more local news. With more than 77,000 kids back in school, Dane County officials are taking an extra step to keep students safe. This follows a recent report from the county's Traffic Safety Commission that shows numbers of Dane County kids hurt in school zones last year was twice as high as any of the previous 4 years. Last year, 43 kids were hit by cars on their way to or from school, and 6 were hit in school zones. One of those children was 11-year-old Zoe Jamerson. Zoe was able to recover, but sometimes still experiences pain. Today, her mother shared the message she wants drivers to know.
I could have lost my child, you know? It could have been way worse. And it's not only just that, but it's the trauma of it too. It's important to let everybody know it takes like a second of distracted driving to substantially change someone's life.
The Traffic Safety Commission recommends parents teach their kids the SAFE acronym. Stay at least 5 big steps away from the curb. Always wait for the bus to stop completely before getting on. Face forward after finding a seat on the bus. Exit the bus after it stops, and wait until the driver says it's okay before crossing.
Well, next on Live at 4, the impact the pandemic has had on the opioid crisis.
And how UW-Madison is working to combat it after the break.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Fall is just around the corner. Let the experts at Feldco get your home ready for the cooler temps ahead. Right now, buy one window, get one free, plus no interest for 3 years. It's the perfect time to make valuable upgrades to your home and save more money in the process. Our custom windows are built in the U.S. to the highest standards and made to withstand the harsh Midwest weather. Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
This September, it's time to celebrate Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. For decades, we've been a staple of our downtown community, and we're proud of those roots. We've built a reputation for quality service and beautiful forever furniture, and you can save on all of the top brands: Smith Brothers, Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, Serta mattresses, and always free delivery. Shop local this September at Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. Don't you just love a good reason to celebrate?
I've never slept a full night in my entire life. I was 5 years old when my stepfather abused me for the first time. I just felt like I was alone on a planet with a monster. I was 12 when he impregnated me. I just remember thinking, I have to get out of my skin. I can't be me right now. Like, this can't be it. I didn't know what to do. I was a child. I didn't know what it meant to be pregnant at all. But I had options. Because Donald Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, girls and women all over the country have lost the right to choose, even for rape or incest. Donald Trump did this. He took away our freedom.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
New week 5 whooping cough cases are surging across Wisconsin. Experts are warning people of all ages to be cautious. Hear what doctors recommend to keep yourself protected.
We're watching a line of thunderstorms for Thursday overnight. Coming up at 5, we'll use Radar 3000 and Future Track to show the very latest progress on the storms.
Ahead at 6, many young Wisconsinites will cast their first ever votes in November. We take you inside a unique high school course that's empowering students to make their voices heard. That's tonight at 6.
New data from the CDC shows drug overdose deaths in Wisconsin are projected to have declined 10% in the year ending in April. That puts us roughly in line with the national trend. In the year ending in April 2024, Wisconsin saw a predicted number of 1,612 deadly overdoses. The year before, we were at 1,785.
And while we look to be heading in the right direction, it's important to still remember we are in an opioid crisis. And one new study shows the COVID-19 pandemic had a dramatic impact on opioid overdoses among adolescents. Researchers in Chicago found non-deadly overdoses significantly increased among people between 12 and 17 at the start of the pandemic. They remained elevated compared to pre-pandemic levels, largely due to fentanyl use at home. The study stresses the importance of having naloxone on hand, the over-the-counter medication that can reverse an opioid overdose. Naloxone, also known as Narcan, is available for free at 2 public health Madison and Dane County locations. It's available between 8:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the afternoon at East Wash and South Park Street locations. You can also ask your pharmacist about Narcan.
UW Associate Professors Cody Wenther and Jay Ford are working to fight this crisis locally. They're launching the Wisconsin Opioid Overdose Response Center, which will especially focus on preventing fentanyl-related overdose deaths. The two plan on reaching Wisconsin's more than 800 community pharmacies to make sure everyone has the same resources to tackle the crisis.
While there are good solutions out there to mitigate the consequences of overdose and the likelihood of overdose, not everybody who might benefit from those approaches is getting access to them.
Between this October and next September, Ford and Wenther will be getting the center up and running. They're currently connecting with pharmacies and healthcare professionals throughout Wisconsin to help launch the center's programs and initiatives.
SSM Health is raising awareness about basic needs for students at Lincoln Elementary that are lacking socks and underwear. This year, instead of a traditional school supplies drive, SSM Health sponsored a Seats and Feets underwear and socks drive to help get students what they need. And while it may seem strange to some that new underwear and socks aren't on some parents' school lists, Lincoln Elementary principal says it's common.
Sometimes this can be, if you're trying to provide food for the table, you're providing rent and your electricity bill, there's nothing left over for new socks and underwear for your children.
Many Lincoln Elementary families live below the poverty line, with some experiencing homelessness. Watson says even though they aren't aware of these needs when they find out, the community comes together to help. She says that's why raising awareness about this specific issue is important.
And coming up on Live at 4, have you ever wondered, what does my zodiac sign smell like?
All the time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
A local business owner has the answer. We're showing you how to find her in her new location.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year, so visit our website or call the number for your new floor today.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory.
Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Here's the secret worth sharing. Robertson, Wisconsin's aesthetic leader, has nurses that specialize in custom treatment plans. Always natural, never overfilled. Time to learn how aging is different at Robertson.
Tammy Baldwin's partner is Maria Brisbane, a Wall Street wealth advisor to the ultra-rich. They spend their time in New York and D.C. in their multi-million-dollar homes. But Baldwin fails to report their jointly owned assets, or Maria's clients, who get rich off industries that Tammy regulates. That's a conflict of interest, raising serious ethical questions. Two-faced Tammy Baldwin. She's not for us anymore. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If your windows are leaky and drafty, it's possible they weren't installed properly. Many installers lack proper training, and shoddy installation leaves your home vulnerable to extreme weather. At Next Door & Window, we're reinventing window installation. Our approach ensures your windows are sealed tight and energy efficient. And your windows and doors will be installed by certified experts who treat your home as if it was their own. When you demand tomorrow's comfort, Next delivers. Visit nextwindow.com to learn more.
Did you get hit with big energy bills this summer? You aren't alone, and we want to help. Because if your house was hot this summer, it's going to be cold this winter, and heating and cooling is by far the biggest energy user in your home. That's why our foam insulation is such a great investment. Our best offer of the year just ended August 31st. But to help you get ready for winter, we're going to extend it until September 22nd, the first day of fall. When we foam your walls, we'll insulate your attic for free.
USA Insulation.
Let's take a look at Cincinnati, Ohio. Looks like they are in for a nice sunset. Beautiful sky there. Still summer there, of course. 91 degrees in Cincinnati.
It's pretty hot. Are we going to see some of those temperatures lingering around here, Alex?
We sure are, at least for another couple of days. In fact, those temperatures are out there right now here. We can show that also on radar 3000, 90 right now in Janesville, 85 in Madison, 86 in Lone Rock, a little cooler off to the north and towards the west, around 80 as thunderstorms are starting to approach the Mississippi River on radar 3000. Let's track those using Future Track. We've been talking now for a few days that we'd have a line of storms this evening. By 8 o'clock, that's lining up near La Crosse. Now they have a storm there now, but more are expected to develop to the west, and then they sweep towards the east, towards the Madison area by midnight. But look at the broken nature of this line of thunderstorms as it moves towards the east. We will see a fizzling mode very likely with this line of storms. It continues to kick off towards the east. 6 o'clock Friday morning, skies are already starting to clear, which will make for a very warm day on Friday. Rainfall amounts to the west of Madison, a little bit on the appreciable side, especially if you're over towards Viroqua, up towards La Crosse, you might get a half to 3/4 of an inch of water. As you march towards Madison, maybe a 1/10 to a 1/4 of an inch. But as that line of storms fizzles, unfortunately, areas towards Juneau, Watertown, Jefferson, Janesville, a 1/10 of an inch or maybe even less as you head over towards the east, towards Milwaukee. An isolated strong storm not out of the question. Gusty winds and hail, and this would be primarily north and west of Madison through the mid to late evening hours. As we lose the heat of the day, we lose some of that instability, that energy, and that threat of severe weather goes down as, again, we are expecting that line to fizzle. We have more rain chances in the future, the better chances actually as we go Saturday night, Sunday, and going on into Monday night. Rainfall amounts could be approaching 1 inch during this time frame, Sunday going on into Monday. And provided that storm track doesn't change, it is looking like a widespread rainfall event is heading towards southern Wisconsin, which we absolutely need because beyond that rainy stretch after the first day of fall, we go back into dry and warmer than normal temperatures again.
All right, well, thank you, Alex. Well, science and horoscopes. They're a strange pairing, but a local woman followed both to create a successful business.
And she sure did. Last year, I showed you Zodica Perfumery. That creates sense based on your zodiac sign. How about that? Well, now the owner of the company is sniffing out a new venture in downtown Madison. Well, in the State Street area, there is a new bar in town. This one's not for drinking, though. It's for smelling. How does that work? Well, I am here with Christy Moe, the owner of Zodica Perfumery. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. It smells very nice in here.
Well, we would have a problem if it didn't.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So I'm wondering, so you've kind of built your business on smell your zodiac sign. How does that work?
So the way this works is it's not like me just thinking, oh, a Taurus should smell like this. No, I actually did 3 years of research, and it's all based on these scientific studies as well, where I found patterns happening of how people that were born in a similar time of year actually share scent preferences, just like their personality traits, like their zodiac sign. So it's all personalized to your sign.
So how does this concept, this bar concept work?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting concept because we're not like your typical perfume store where you just come in and browse and try different things. Because of the concept, it's a very personalized experience. So we take you through this whole scent journey where we have you try like your zodiac sign, but then we go deeper. We talk about like maybe your partner, your significant other, and their sign, and have you smell their sign because you can also wear these by attraction. We have you maybe even dive deeper in doing like a natal chart and see where all your zodiac placements are because we're so much more than just our sun sign, believe it or not.
Because when we talked last time, your business, you're featured in other stores, and now you're opening up this new brick and mortar store on West Johnson. How does it feel to have this footprint again?
Honestly, like when we were actually putting the logo up a couple days ago, I got teary-eyed because it's really a culmination of 8 years of, hard hard work on my part. You know, I started on my own, and now I've grown to employ 8 people, and we're in almost 700 stores across the U.S. And to have like this vision come to life and have it come from my brain and then just see it into fruition is just such a huge feeling of accomplishment for me.
Okay, so a Taurus smell. I want to see.
Yes.
I remember smelling that last time. That's my sign. So let's see if I still like it.
Okay. And we have to have you smell your opposite too.
Yep, that's like a nice, clean, kind of woodsy smell.
Yes, this one, it almost feels like cashmere. It's got that softness to it. And then your opposite, which is Scorpio. Now this one is kind of like, you know, like light and dark. So this is a little spicier.
Yeah, a little spicy, but yeah, there's kind of like a sweeter note in it.
There is actually an apricot in here. You have such a good nose.
Oh, good. Look at that. Sniffing out the things. There we go.
You know, if this news thing doesn't work out for you, come on in.
I could work here. Would you like a scent? I'm employed. Okay. So what are we looking at here? This is another experience for customers.
Yes, and this will be ready on Saturday for our grand opening. But this is our refill bar. So refilling products is very popular right now. It's trendy. People are looking for how they can be more eco-conscious. And we're a very eco-conscious brand. We've always been a refillable product. But now we're going to have this repository, really, for people to come here and be able to refill the bottles that they've purchased from us before. So not only are they going to save money, actually, by refilling their own bottle, but they're going to even like help be even more eco-conscious and reduce their carbon footprint too.
Are you just always so pleased when someone leaves your store with something that makes them feel good?
Absolutely. Like I say, even though we sell perfume, we're really in the business of connection, connecting to each other, connecting to ourselves, and really connecting to something greater. So that's the whole concept of what I want people to walk out of here with, is that feeling of connection.
And Zodica Perfumery is now open at 133 West Johnson Street, right off State Street. You can visit zodicaperfumery.com to learn more.
Now we want to quickly hit some breaking news before we go to break. The Sauk County Prairie Police Department says a male juvenile was arrested this afternoon after allegedly displaying a pellet gun to other kids.
This was at Sauk Prairie High School. Officers found the juvenile off school district property. They say he cooperated with officers, and now that juvenile is facing charges for making terroristic threats, possession of a facsimile firearm, and disorderly conduct. This case remains under investigation. We'll be right back.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Imagine trying to take on one of the big car companies. It's not easy. Yet this year, one local law firm finalized the largest compensatory verdict in state history against an automaker, over $38 million. And it was no fluke. That same firm has been holding big car companies accountable for faulty designs that cause injury for over 50 years. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
After careful review of medical guidance and research on pain relief, my recommendation is simple. Every home should have Salonpas. Powerful, yet non-addictive. Targeted and long-lasting. I recommend Salonpas. It's good medicine.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years. Highest gas prices ever. Skyrocketing interest rates. Unaffordable housing. Incomes down. Unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Well, take a look at this. In Michigan, multiple cameras captured a sheriff's deputy climbing into the window of a moving vehicle, kind of like out of the movies. The body cam shows her making the move to help a driver who had been reportedly driving erratically and appeared to be having a medical emergency. The deputy was able to successfully stop the vehicle and get the driver the medical assistance he needed. She says the heroic act is just part of the job.
I'll say. Well, meet a viral sensation, Mudang, the 2-month-old baby hippo whose name means bouncing pig. I bounced when I said that. Crowds have swarmed a zoo in Thailand to get a chance to see the country's newest star. Visitor numbers to the zoo have doubled, and now it's trying to patent and trademark Mudang. She's already been featured in advertisements and even an NBA social media post. Ooh, she's famous. But zoo attendees say they show up because she's cute. She is cute.
She is really cute. I would go see her.
I want one.
Bring it to the newsroom tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone would love that. Okay, we'll be right back.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member, Ramos was arrested for a gun crime, but as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Come celebrate the season with Baraboo Furniture and Mattresses store-wide fall kickoff sale. Every department is on sale. Living room, bedroom, dining room, mattresses, Amish, and much more. All with the lowest prices. Over $1 million of name brand furniture to choose from in our beautiful showroom, including over 60 recliners. Free financing, all credit welcome. Hurry in today to the huge store-wide fall kickoff sale at Baraboo Furniture and Mattress, where your satisfaction is our guarantee.
If you're about to replace your roof, stop. There's a solution about 80% less expensive. 9 out of 10 roofs can be saved by RoofMax. Guaranteed to extend the life of your current roof by 5 to 15 years at a fraction of the cost of a new roof. RoofMax's deep penetrating power restores flexibility and water protection. Nobody wants to replace their roof. Restore it instead with RoofMax for 80% less. Call now for a free roof inspection.
3 years ago, I had an abortion of a desperately wanted and loved baby. Joan Ballwig wants to ban all abortion, with no exceptions. Not for rape or incest, not to save the mother's life. I know what it's like when women have to make these heartbreaking decisions. The very last person who should have anything to do with it is a politician like Joan Ballwig.
Democrats say everything's great, but when you're on a fixed income struggling to pay for gas, groceries, or medicine, it doesn't feel great.
Biden-Harris created this mess.
And Tammy Baldwin's been right there with them.
25 years in Washington. What's she done?
Raised taxes.
Added trillions in new debt.
And gave stimulus checks to illegals.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
I'd like a stimulus check.
I'd like you to take out the trash.
And that wraps up today's Live at 4. Brady's in the newsroom with what's coming up next.